Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money and taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So I have members in CFO On Demand right now that are very early stage, like so early stage that they're just forming their businesses right now. And it's never too soon to join, number one. And number two, they're asking for advice on certain things around forming their businesses. And as I'm helping them, I'm realizing that this is really good information to share because I have a really strong opinion on this particular issue. Although I have to disclaim it and say, I'm not a lawyer. I always say this, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice. But what I am going to do is provide you my approach and my opinion on naming your business because it can have a financial impact. Now, I'm not going to tell you that there's one right way or wrong way. There is definitely not. I'm just going to tell you my thoughts on it based on the life cycle of businesses I've actually witnessed and some of them that regretted naming them a certain way. And I'm going to just share those as, lessons learned by them and let you do what you want with that information. Take what you want, leave what you don't. But if you're trying to name a business right now, you're like, hey, I want to form a business and I want to come up with a name. What should I do? So number one, the first question I get asked is, should I call it my name? My very strong opinion is no. I'm going to explain why. Now, it could just be easy. It's like, well, why wouldn't I call it, Shannon Weinstein LLC? It's easy. That's just like what we default to because that's our name. It's the name we're most familiar with. I'm going to tell you why not to. Number one is that now, if I'm Shannon Weinstein and I'm in Shannon Weinstein LLC, now, frankly, anyone who finds me on the internet, like they know who the owner is. They can find me on the internet. They can try to find my address. They can try to find my phone number. They know me personally. They know my name. And I just feel like it's a very thin cover of, or very thin shield, a very thin shield, for anything that could go negative about people knowing that I'm the owner of my business. So if my business grows to, let's say, a multi 7, 8, 9-figure business, and it's like Shannon Weinstein LLC, it's like, well, obviously that's Shannon and that's her money. Like, guess what? I'm probably going to be the target of identity theft. I'm probably going to be the target of scams. People are going to hunt down my information. Like specifically, they might actually find out who I am and target me. So number one, it's just the safety aspect. Number two is I look at your business name as the vanity plate on your car. Okay. So if, for example, if you had a car that had your name on the vanity plate, like if it said, basically, this is Shannon Weinstein's car, like Shannon Weinstein on the license plate, if that fit on a license plate. But if it had your name on the license plate and then you gave someone else the keys to your car to drive around, and maybe they drove a little recklessly, maybe they were cutting in and out of traffic, maybe they're cutting people off, maybe they were causing trouble. And of course, then they're going to call the cops and be like, I'm looking for Shannon Weinstein's car. Or they're going to call in and tell on them or report them. And like, I don't want my name associated to that. But that's kind of what's happening when you grow your business to a certain level and you empower people to take over. You hire a CEO, you hire an operations manager, you hire people who are going to focus on client service. They're representing your brand. So if your business's name is your personal name, like even if it was Shannon Weinstein and Associates, it's basically they're carrying around something with my name on it, and their behavior reflects on me very directly. And that will carry with me personally. So if, God forbid, I ran an accounting firm and I hired some bad apples and they treated customers poorly. Well, guess what? I'm going to get Google reviews. I'm going to get bad mouths on social media that's just like, oh my God, Shannon Weinstein's a terrible firm. Da, 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 da. And I won't be able to recover from that reputation for a while. It's actually going to have a really serious impact on reputation for me personally. I may not be able to get hired in another job. You know, again, these are extreme examples, but it's all possibility and it's preventable. So I look at it as, hey, I would really not like to attach my name to the business because I really don't know what direction this is going to go in. I really don't know if I want everyone knowing who I am, that I'm the owner. If they call the office, I don't want them necessarily asking for Shannon Weinstein, knowing that there's a person there by that name that they can call and scam. That would be avoidable, honestly. I think it's just safer. It's why we don't put our first and last name on our mailbox. We have an address. So that's how I actually compare it. And I say, instead of putting your name, imagine if you had to put your name on your house instead of your house number. It was like Shannon's house. Well, now they know who you are. They can knock on the door and they can ask for you and they can lie to you, right? And they can drop stuff off there. It's risky, right? You're thinking about this going, yeah, that would be kind of risky. Well, that's why I have an address, and that address has a house number and a street name, and that's where I live. But typically you don't find those things readily available on the internet. So it's harder to find that. Same thing with your name. If your business's name is your personal name, it can be risky. So that's number one. Number two is if you were to sell your business one day, if you were to, build up your business and then sell it, or if you were to remove yourself out of the business, it's risky because, what are you going to do? Sell shares of Shannon Weinstein LLC to someone else and they own it? No one will really want to buy your company if it has your name on it, but you're no longer in it. Also, you're really not going to want people driving around with that license plate without you in the car. So you just have to be aware of the risks of that. So I recommend naming your business something that is completely unrelated to your name, anything personal to you, anything specific. You can use, I call them like the little Taylor Swift Easter eggs, little codes, right? So for example, if I could start over, I might be SKW Enterprises, right? Which is my three initials Enterprises, or, something with Weinstein or a W, right? Or it could be an inside joke with you and your spouse. It could be a pet name. It could be, it could be anything, literally anything. I always joke around and say it could be Monkeys and Bananas LLC. Who the hell cares, right? It doesn't matter what it's named. I mean, my business was called Financial Solutions LLC. And that was because I formed a business that was dedicated to helping fitness professionals with their finances, which made complete sense as a name. It was a little quirky and it's not easy to write, unfortunately, or spell, but I had fun with that name when I formed it. And here's the thing, and this is also why I want you to reconsider if you have your business entity is your name. I'm going to tell you, here's how you can get around that. But also, here is how you can, if you haven't formed a business yet or you haven't named it yet, here's an idea. Because if you're kind of stuck and you're like, what do I name it then? And how do I pick a name? Well, it really doesn't matter. You could do a random name generator, ask ChatGPT. You could so many things. Pick one. Doesn't matter. Pick one. Make sure there's no trademark infringement. Make sure there's no issues with you using that name in your state. Make sure there's no duplication or confusion. Make sure it lines with your brand. Okay. But even if you got sidetracked there and now you have a name that, you're not super proud of, or you want to change it, here's what you do. You can get what's called a DBA, doing business as. And what that is, almost like a sticker that goes over the name where you could operate under your desired name. Okay, so here's how we did this. I have Financial Solutions LLC, for example, and we decided that after the podcast kicked off with Keep What You Earn, I said, you know what? I don't want to have two separate brands altogether with distinct names. I want to be known as Keep What You Earn Company. I want everything under the Keep What you Earn umbrella. So what I did was I went to my local town clerk. This is all you have to do. In most states, this is all you have to do. I go to my local town clerk and I say, hi, I would like to file a DBA. I want to say it cost me 15 minutes and maybe $15. I can't remember if it even cost anything. But you go to your town clerk's office and they will file a DBA. It's a couple pieces of paper. You get it notarized that says that you want to be known as this new name. It's just kind of saying my business would like to identify as this new name. So I got a DBA for Keep What You Earn Company. And now we are branded under that. So now everything's under Keep What You Earn Company, but Financial Solutions will remain on my contracts. And this is key. So the only time Financial Solutions ever really pops up is when you have a legal agreement. And I mean, that's not all that often. It's not very visible to the public. So if we hire a new customer, it will say this agreement is with Financial Solutions LLC, DBA, Keep What You Earn Company. Okay. That's it. That's it. So just understand that the business name is going to be the legal name. When you form your LLC or your corporation, that is just the legal name that is going to appear in your contracts. If you would like to develop a separate brand, a separate identity, a separate program, and operate under that DBA, you are more than welcome to do that. Just make sure always that you're checking trademark infringements, that you can use that name safely. There's no confusion. And pro tip, make sure people can spell it easily. Make sure it's easy to remember. Make sure you get the domain, right? So get all that stuff aligned before you put all that in ink. And if you feel like, oh, shoot, I wish I had done this sooner and implemented that, no worries. Look into getting that DBA and aligning all those pieces, because I did it. You can do it too. It's not that hard. But all you got to do is get up and go take the action to fix it. And just keep in mind that it's not a lifetime commitment to pick a business name. And definitely my advice would be, do not, if you want to change your business name, do not dissolve the one you have and create a new one. You lose all of that history and that maturity. If you want to go get credit or get a loan, or you want to establish that you're a mature business with past successes, don't hit a reset button, because then the clock starts all over again, and you're not going to be able to prove that you had that business for that length of time. So just keep that in mind, that you don't want to necessarily hit the reset button. See how you can leverage, your existing business and simply go buy another name if you need to for the sake of your outward marketing. It's very possible. So here's what I want you to do. If all of this sounds good to you and you need to take action on anything you learned in today's episode, talk to a lawyer, okay? And talk to an expert on your state in particular, where you have your LLC. And I'm sure that this would be a very easy process to correct if there is anything to be corrected. Hey, if you haven't yet booked a power session with me, I currently have spots open and I would love to dive deeper into your business. Now, here's what you can expect. One client who's a business coach said that this was one of the most clarifying sessions she's ever had. And she said, I feel like I finally understand how to steer the ship of my business in the right direction. Another client said that she couldn't believe that so much money, $10,000 per month to be exact, was hiding in plain sight on her financials. And she only discovered it from sitting in our session and going through the details with me. Another client was able to get their S corporation fully implemented with me on a call, and then their salary was adjusted to the proper level, so now they can have all their ducks in a row come tax time. The beauty of these sessions is that you can make them your own, and we can meet you where you're at in your business to help you move forward faster. If you're interested in booking a session, click the link in the show notes and apply now to grab one of those spots. We only do about 2 per month, so space is limited. Jump on it right now. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.